بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh everyone, and welcome to a new majlis from the Majalis of Tafseet on Saturday in this blessed Masjid. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our sins, sins of our shuyukh, our parents, our beloved ones, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the reward in being in this majlis. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make the reward heavy in our mizan yawm al-qiyamah. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us al-ikhlas fi al-qawl wal-amal. Looking into the majlis, this is not something that will let you down, but for teachers is something common. For teachers was something, I'm talking about myself, is something very common, very I'm used to it, having in the first day, second day, a big number of students, and then the following days after that will be dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. It was said, our Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on him, when there is, he wrote a book, a famous book, which is a commentary upon Aqidah al-Wasitiyya. During the time when he was teaching that book, he used to be only one student and two students in front of him. That's in early days. On some occasions when you have thousands of people in front of him. I experienced with my own eyes, with myself in Medina, when you see in Al-Masjid al-Nabawi, a great imam, a great scholar. I'm not saying that I'm great. Don't read from the other side. I'm nothing. But a great imam, great scholars, that when they're sitting in there, only one or two students in front of them. And you can say that sometimes because it's a Maghrib, between Maghrib and Isha. Between Maghrib and Isha you have about 10 shuyukh. And you can select which sheikh you're going to study from. I remember these days I used to sit in the circle of Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Abbad and Sheikh Suhayban, which is a very big faqih, a scholar of fiqh. He used to sit his circle on the right-hand side of Sheikh Al-Abbad. And used to be two people in his circle. If it was maximum big, you'll be three people in his circle in there. And there is Shu'ba ibn al-Hajjaj with his colleague one day in Al-Basra. One of the great muhaddithin, the scholars of hadith with isnad, came to Al-Basra, and the news went out, oh, so and so sheikh came and staying in there for a number of days to teach the people of Al-Basra ahadith, his ahadith. And the meeting, the gathering was thousands of people. Thousands, as Shu'ba said, of people. They could not, the Tullab al-Hadith, they could not find a place for themselves. Shu'ba was saying to his colleague, he said, are all of those people, they're going to be muhaddithin? He said, wait until tomorrow and you will see, I'll give you my answer. So he came for the following day, and from having about 3,000 students are all gathered, and it says the roads of Al-Basra was full of people sitting in there and looking into the sheikh who came to teach them. And the following day, when they came, was half of the number. And then the colleague of Shu'ba said to him, wait, I'm not going to give you the answer. Wait for tomorrow, the following. He said, I'll give you the answer following day. He said, I'm not giving you the answer today. I'm going to keep you for another day. I'll give you the answer. And the following, which is the third day, the number dropped into very, very less than even the half of that. He said to him, look, what did I say to you? They can't. Those people, they cannot sit for learning. Learning, it is a ibadah, and will be only for people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open it for them. He says, you know, people, we Muslims, we know that you might be having a good body, good strength, you can fast all the time. People having the fasting is very, very easy. And I know people who are older in age, wallahi al-azim, since I know them, Monday, Thursday, never stopped fasting these 2 days. Although they're older in age. Whether summer or winter, a longer day, shorter day, Allah made that ibadah easy for them. I know people, the dhikr, wherever you find them, walk in the street, here and there, their tongue, they cannot stop in making dhikr. Allah made that ibadah easy for them. There are people, they qiyamul layl, it's a routine, will not stop. The body, without even having an alarm, you wake up 1 hour before Fajr, half an hour before Fajr, they're praying the number of rak'at they do all the time. It is a blessing from Allah, it's a tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First, you need to force yourself for doing a specific ibadah that you're happy to do. You have to force yourself, because there's nothing comes like with ease. There's nothing comes with ease. And in particular, talabul ilm, seeking the knowledge. There's nothing will be there coming with ease. That's the dunya, you know it. You want to get money, you want to get good house, good car, good this, good that. Then never, there is nothing in this life comes with ease. You have to struggle, you have to make an effort. And the ibadah is like that. If you want the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need to force yourself. That's one, until you reach a level that you become really enjoy that ibadah all the time. They criticized Imam Ahmad. They said to him, he left his mother in Baghdad and he went to Wasit. Wasit, which is another city, not far away, but is another city, like you're going to Manchester. You're going into Birmingham to seek the knowledge. It's farther than that, but they criticized him. And he did not answer that. And then when he made the second decision to go from Baghdad to go to Yemen, are you crazy? Why are you doing all that effort? He said to his colleague, Yahya bin Ma'in, those people, they don't know the sweetness of seeking the knowledge and having and studying the ilm, the sharia of Allah. It's not just the ibadah, there's a sweetness in there. You will get it when you become into it all the time. So going back to the point, with Shu'bah, he found the number of the people dropped, and he said it's not an easy for the people to sit. They look into, this is from long time, not from now. They look to celebrities for someone who's going to give them what they want. They look into someone will say to them what they want, not the one who will tell them what they need. It's different. You'll find the one who will tell you what you need by looking into knowing the experience of what is important for you in Sharia. Or I will tell you, or the one will tell you what you want, the thing that makes people that are getting in a gathering in a majalis and talking and having the chat about something. And that's why you find nowadays people are differentiating between youth and older people. And who are the youth? You're talking about someone who's in their late 20s, early 30s. I don't differentiate between them. If you made those are youth, who is the adult then? What do we call ourselves then? Are we, what is the name that you're going to tell about ourselves? So you do not differentiate between them, because those people, they look into something that they want someone to tell them what they want and not what they need. But that's wrong. I will not tell the person what you want. I will tell you what you need. And that's what the Sharia, that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran and Rasulullah in the Sunnah. What we need to be a good Muslim, not what you want to make you majlis, your gathering, or I enjoy talking about so and so, and talking about this, talking about that. So please do differentiate between that. I know it's not easy to come and sit and listen. It's not easy to come to get in the morning. If you don't have a child to drop in the school, it's not easy. But remember the reward. Everything that you see in this world, making tasbih and dhikr for you from the minute that you left your home and you start walking to the masjid to attend a circle. The angels now there, and they are stopping flying and moving as out of respect to you. They're mentioning your full name. To who? Into the special majlis of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with al-mala'il a'la. You want that, and you don't want to get the hardship of waking up early in the morning and listening to a few words talking about, explaining about the book of Allah. So that's why the reward of seeking the knowledge is so great, because it's not easy to get it. It's not easy to go through that. And as I said in the first day, we're not expecting everyone to be a scholar. Seeking the knowledge is to get the blessings of the majlis. Seeking the knowledge to learn a few things that to get yourself from being, let's say the word jahil in that issue, into being a learned person in that particular issue. So we're not expecting everyone to be a scholar, but we need to learn our deen. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all, brothers and sisters, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from you. Okay, going to our surah An-Naml, as we did mention, brothers and sisters, surah Makkiyah. And we started the story of Sulaiman alayhi salam, and we completed verse 17 last lesson. So I'm not going to review that because we have the introduction. Let's go straight into ayah 18. The saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, حَتَّى إِذَا أَتَوْا عَلَى وَادِ النَّمْلِ قَالَتْ نَمْلَةٌ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّمْلِ. Okay, حتى, talking about Sulaiman alayhi salam with his army, as we said, the at-tayr, al-jinn, wal-ins. The ulama, they said, as we explained last lesson, the ulama said that Sulaiman went out for a ghazwa, for a battle, and some scholars, they said he went out for istisqa, seeking and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for water. I will doubt the second opinion, that's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for water, because utina min kulli shay, the previous ayah, we are giving all the ni'am, all the bounties, all the blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he's got all the khair. They are not in a hardship. You're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for water, salatul istisqa. As you know, you go out and you pray asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send the rain. Sulaiman, it did not mention in the history and nor in the Quran he was in the hardship. So he did not go out for istisqa. He went out for a battle, checking up for his empire, something like that. But we don't have an evidence or something suggested why Sulaiman he went out with his army. However, while he was out, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Hatta idha ataw, when Sulaiman and with that big army with him, ataw, they came, ala wadin naml. You know the verb ataw, in Arabic language, you don't need to have a preposition which is ala after that. So if it was not Quran, I would say, Hatta idha ataw wadin naml. Wadi, let me explain to you the word wadi and then I'll come to the word ala. The word wadi is a valley. Wadi is a valley, and it was said it's called Wadi Naml because it was full of naml. And naml is the ant. And a naml is an ant, the ants. And that valley was full of ants. And of course, the ants, when they're small, you can't see them. As if you're standing, if you are in a horse, on a camel, how would you be able to see an ant very small in there? So, حتى إذا أتوا على وادي النمل, when they came to Wadi An-Naml, the valley of An-Naml, the empire of An-Naml, we don't need the word ala. The word ala that you see it in there, that is not needed if you think about Arabic language, because you can say, it's correctly, completely correct to say, حتى إذا أتوا وادي النمل. But the ulama of Tafseet, they said the word ala is to give an extra meaning that Sulaiman and his army, because the word ala means on top of. The word ala, the general, the common meaning of the word ala means that you're being on top of. That's one of the meanings. So Allah wanted to show, one of the purpose of having the word ala in there, to show that Sulaiman and his army, they were on top of the wadi, the valley of An-Naml. That's one of the meaning that possibly intended from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in mentioning the ala in there, because in the Arabic language you don't need it. The second meaning, they call it, in Arabic language they call that harf ala is zaid. Zaid means addition, is extra. And when we have that grammatically, we say it's to emphasize the meaning, because there is nothing extra in the Quran, you don't need it. Every single letter that's said by Allah, it has a meaning. So that's one of the possible meaning. And the second possible meaning for the word ala is to show that Sulaiman is in the ulu. Al-ulu being someone is more highly respected, highly powerful, comparing with the ants, the An-Naml. So حتى إذا أتوا على واد النمل قالت نملة. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention An-Naml? Why we don't have An-Naml, which is the ants? Why we don't have the story of, let's say, any other animal? An animal other than the ants. You know the story of this, so we'll go through that now. But why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention, and the story of Sulaiman went all about An-Naml? So can you think of another animal which is very small and tiny and you can't see, and maybe lives on the ground? You might say flies, you might say insects, you might say spiders, you might say something here and there. But I think there are many lessons to learn from this particular creature and Naml, and you can go into this and the whole lesson. You can talk about the lessons that you can learn from a Naml. One of the reasons possibly that you can think about it and why Naml is mentioned, because of the social, because of the unity that they are. They don't live individually. A Naml, they will never live by themselves. One ant will live by herself or himself. They live together as one full community. They're very well organized. They have each group of them. They'll go in groups searching for food, searching for everything, and they will have a head for each group of them. And they work day and night. They work all the time. Even nighttime, they have members, they securities, they look after those who are sleeping, and people during their time, they go out and searching and finding for food. All these are messages. And you might say, well, similar to that, we have the bees. We have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Surah Al-Nahl, and we have Surah Al-Naml, and that will come in another occasion to talk about the bees. But here we have a Naml, and the bees also flying, and Sulaiman is on the ground and walking. And this is why it suits to talk about that. One of the possible lessons that we can learn in that. So really it's a message for the readers of the Quran, for the believers, for those who are making and putting an empire, to want to have to be strong in the same way as Sulaiman, and before that Dawood alayhi salam. As we did mention, the Yahud, they were not in very powerful situation until Dawood came during the time of Talut. They became powerful at the time, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them with the power in dunya as well as the wealth. But their wealth and their empire did not last for more than 40 years, as we did mention. Similar to that is the ants. So for you, when you read that, we as a Muslims, we don't live, and Sharia informed us, you should not live and you segregate yourself away from the community. You should not. Only during the time of fitan. When there is a fitna, the big fitna, and the fitna here where people start killing each other, there is a big fitna in the community, in the life, then there are situations where you can segregate yourself, but we don't have that situation. So why a Muslim who lives in a community putting themselves away from the community, putting yourself away from the community, you're going to be easy for the shaitan, easy for those who are inviting you for the sins and all of that. You're going to suffer silence, and that's not really right for you. Mix with your community, you're going to talk to people. I'm sure we're not perfect. No one is perfect in here. But I'm sure that you'll find one or two who you'll feel comfortable and happy to talk to and explain to them about your problems. Be together because we worship together. We worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. Be together because we can talk and we establish the deen of Allah together. And that's why, alhamdulillah, in this community we establish this and we are making this. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless everyone. But this is one of the main lessons. There's so many lessons you can learn about An-Naml, but really it's not the time to talk about that. Some of the Tafseet did talk about that in a very length, so very long, but we can't do that here because we need to take just a few lessons and we'll move. قالت نملة, while Sulaiman alayhi salam and his army on the to enter the Wadi An-Naml, the valley of An-Naml, قالت نملة يا أيها النمل. A Namla said, one ant said the following. It was said by the Mufassirin, this ant was the king of all the ants. We don't have an evidence for that. Some Mufassirin, they even mentioned the name of this ant. How did you get that? We don't have evidence. These are all from a narration of Bani Israel, as we did mention last time. The narration from Bani Israel, we can narrate them, but really when you need, we don't need to know the name of this ant. It was said that this ant also, it was a female, it was not a male. Why was a female ant? And whether it is a male or female, does that make any difference? It might make difference for the ladies, but doesn't make difference for the brothers. It was said that Qatada, listen to this, Qatada ibn Di'am al-Sadusi, one of the greatest ulama of at-Tabi'in's time. He's a great Tabi'i, he's a great Mufassir. You get in a tafsir book, you find his name all the time there. And narrator of hadith as well. It was said that one day he entered Kufa, and everyone came to listen to his lessons, to his reminders, and he said to them, Saluni ma shi'tum, ask me whatever you want. I will answer your questions. Qatada is the one who said, there is nothing that I read it and then I forgot it after that. He said about himself one day. And one day he said to this is Imam al-Dhahabi, when he talked about his life, he quoted this. He said, there is nothing that I read and then after that I forgot. I did not forget anything from what I read and learned. And then Imam al-Dhahabi, after that, he said one time he was holding his slippers under his arm and he's saying to his servant, so and so, ya fulan, where is my slippers? He looked at him, he said to him, it's under your armpit. He said, Imam al-Dhahabi said after that, look, subhanallah, he said about himself that he will not forget anything. وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. You can't say that about yourself. And he forgot even where is the slippers and he's in his hand. So anyway, this Qatada, he entered the Kufa. Kufa is the city of one of great Imam. Who's that? I'm going to, if you don't give me an answer of this city is known as city of one great Imam. Other than Cash, if you don't tell me the person who lived in that city, I'm going to, for those who are from Pakistan, from India subcontinent, I'm going to deny that you are from there. Huh? Imam Abu Hanifa. Is the city of Imam Abu Hanifa. Okay, so anyway, the Qatada, he entered there and he said to them, Saluni ma shi'tum. Abu Hanifa was a young person at that time. He was youth because Qatada is older than him. And Abu Hanifa, the right opinion, he's not a tabi'i. It was said that he met Anas ibn Malik. If he met Anas ibn Malik, will be considered that he's a tabi'i, young tabi'i. Well, anyway, whether he's a tabi'i or tabi'at tabi'in, that's about Imam Abu Hanifa. He said to the people around him, ask him, the ant that spoke to Sulaiman was a female or a male? That Abu Hanifa is telling the people around him, ask him, this sheikh, whether that ant was a male or female. So they asked him and he said, Qatada, he said, I don't know. And then Abu Hanifa, imagine Qatada, the Mufassir, he said, I don't know. But that I don't know has a meaning. I'll tell you about that later. So then Abu Hanifa said to them, this ant was a female. Then they said to him, how did you know it was a female? Because the verb qalat, can you see the verb qalat in here? Has this ta. And this ta is a sign to show that the doer of this action was a female, which is a namla in there. And that's what shows the namla is a female. This is now, you're not going to find a book of tafsir without mentioning this story. Later Mufassir with the name of Tahir ibn Ashur, you don't need to know these names, but I'm just telling you, Tahir ibn Ashur is a late scholar. He criticized the whole story from the beginning to the end. Although this story mentioned by great Mufassir, Imam al-Razi mentioned that, Az-Zamakhshari mentioned that. So all those who are related to that side of the world, they mention this story. They want to show the ilm of Abu Hanifa as a great scholar, a great Imam. But this Shaykh Tahir ibn Ashur, he said, really, this is not really right. First, the answer of Imam Abu Hanifa itself is unacceptable, not right. Why? Because the madhab of the ulama in Al-Kufa, because in Arabic language, same as fiqh, there are madhahib, there are schools in there. In their school, they accept to have a male and female. You can use the verb with the ta even if the doer was a masculine, as long as there is some ta marbuta in there. For example, if we have Usama, if we have Talha, if we have Muawiyah, is a male name and ends with a ta marbuta, the ta here at the end, to show it's a female word, you can have the verb with the ta. And that is acceptable in the madhab of the people in Al-Kufa. And unacceptable in the madhab of Al-Kufa. How Imam Abu Hanifa went against the madhab of the language which is in his city, and that was accepted by the people during the time of Imam Abu Hanifa. And that's, Imam Abu Hanifa died in 150, that's an early time, and that is this sheikh, he trying to say the story is not true. And if it was true, it shows that Imam Abu Hanifa is not powerful in the Arabic language. Of course, this is not acceptable by the Hanafis. The person who said that story is a Maliki. He's from a Maliki madhab. It's either, if that is authentic story, then Imam Abu Hanifa is not strong in Arabic language. If it was really not the case, then we say it's not really authentic story because it was just mentioned in there. And adding into that, Qatada, when he said, I don't know, I don't know means then here, you don't need to go into that details whether it's a female or a male. Whether, it's not important to know whether the ant that spoke to Sulaiman was a male or female. It's not very important. It's an ant. And it says, An-Namla is a word to show is a singular. That's the right opinion in the language, not what Imam Abu Hanifa said is the authentic, if the story was authentic. An-Namla having a ta marbuta in there to show is a feminine word is to indicate is one ant that spoke. Because other than this, you say to the male and you say to the female, Namla. When you want the plural, you say Naml, as it says at the beginning of the ayah. So that is just related to the story. I said, let me tell you about this. I was expecting someone will speak up and not be accepting the story against Imam Abu Hanifa. But I'm not saying that, but none of you spoke. Maybe out of respect inside you, maybe now you're not really accepting the story. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon Imam Abu Hanifa, great Imam, and I don't believe that he is weak in Arabic language. I'm just telling you the story, and I believe the story is not authentic. This is my own view, and Allah knows best. So she said, Ya ayyuhan naml. The Namla spoke to her people, Ya ayyuhan naml. Look into the responsibility. Look, if this Namla was a senior in her group, or she was a member in the group, even if you are a member in the group, when you see that there is a responsibility, there is a need for you to stand up and speak, then you need to stand up and speak. If you are already a responsible person amongst your community, then it's expected from you to stand up and speak. Don't keep quiet. When the need for you to speak up, you have to speak up. She said, Ya ayyuhan namlu idkhulu masakinakum. The reason why they said she was a leader or she was the king, because the way how she commanded the rest of the ants. She said to them, idkhulu masakinakum. Enter your homes. Now, Sulaiman is not there yet. She felt and she know that he's coming. Udkhulu masakinakum. Enter your homes, your places. As you know, the ants, they dig down on the places. They might have them in your kitchen, in your garden. You see them when they go there, and we find them all the time. We'll talk about the ruling of killing the ants after the end of this ayah. So, idkhulu masakinakum, enter your homes. So the reason for entering your home is to escape from an expected danger. And otherwise, the ants, all the time they are outside working, and that's what we said, the reason why mentioning the story of Naml here. La yahtimannakum. La yahtimannakum, she's expressing her fear that Sulaiman and his army will, she used the word yahtimannakum. Hatama yahtimu in Arabic language, when you smash something. And the ants are just creatures. How are you going to smash them? You're smashing glasses, you're smashing something, something can be smashed, usually, as we know, the glass. But if I break something, it doesn't mean that I smashed it, because we don't use the word yahtimannakum. We'll use another word for that. La yahlikannakum. I use different verb. So use the word yahtimannakum to show that the danger that very severe if Sulaiman and his army will be on top of you and will be completely destroyed. And she used the word to show that the danger of what is expected if Sulaiman and his army will walk on top of them, it will be completely disaster on the empire of the Naml. La yahtimannakum Sulaymanu wa junuduh. Sulaiman and his army. It was said, there's a big debate now, take you into this, we might possibly stay in this ayah and the story of the Naml for until the end of the lesson, because many masail related to this ayah. It was said, did the ant speak in the way that can be understood by Sulaiman, in the way that when we say qalat, means she said, with letters and words, in the way that we speak? Some ulama, they denied that, How did Sulaiman understood that? He says Sulaiman understood from the action Allah gave him that miracle, he understood that. But Allahu Alam, they have their own language, they have their own way, and she spoke, she said something. The sound of each animal, they have a sound, and the sound, that's a language for them. And no need to go into that philosophy details, because this was mentioned by Imam al-Razi and others, which are they focus in philosophy of some of these ayat. لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده. She, the ant, she knew that this person's coming is Sulaiman, and that can be an ilham from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give ilham. There is a wahi and there is ilham. Al-ilham, when Allah will guide you, will give you that guidance, that way of doing a specific action. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave an ilham to Musa alayhi salam to put him on the box to save her baby Musa alayhi salam. That is not a revelation. When Allah, so there are when we Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about An-Nahl as well, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them that ability to build their houses in a particular way. This is ilham from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless whether they are aqil like us, a human, whether they are animals. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give that ability to everyone. So she was giving that ability to know that Sulaiman alayhi salam and his army are coming. Sulaiman wa junudu wahum la yash'urun. While they are not noticing that we are here. Means that they will destroy us while we are here, and they're not noticing that. She made a call. She warned her people. She gave the reason of that warning, and she mentioned the warning, what is it, and who is the possible enemy or the one who's going to destroy them. And she gave an excuse at the end. It was said in Arabic language, when you study Arabic language, one of the most sentences that gathered so many different ways in Arabic language is this ayah. Because there is a call, and there is a warning in there, and it is mentioning the warning of what, why she's warning them, mentioning the enemy, mentioning the reason and the possibility was going to happen to them, at the same time giving an excuse at the end. So wahum la yashurun. She gave an excuse to Sulaiman, although they possibly might be destroyed, but she made an excuse that they will do that while they are not noticing this. Now we possibly maybe talk about the reason of, or the ruling of the ant, whether it should, or are we allowed to kill them or not. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in a specific hadith that نهى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عن قتل أربع من الحيوانات, to kill 4 kinds of animals, or in different narrations different types of animals. One of them, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned Naml. You're not allowed to kill Naml. But what about if the ants attacking you in your house and coming and expanding and having lots of bigger place and being in the kitchen, and you hear from your doctor and you know that's not really hygienic, they go there and here, and maybe you put some food in there and you put some plates in there, and they'll be everywhere. So there are ways, if you have peaceful ways of sending them out and not letting them to live in there, then use these ways. You can use that. And that's what you should do at the beginning. If these ways did not work, then you're allowed to kill them. If you know that they're going to harm you, you are allowed to kill that. So Rasulullah sallam, the nahi that was made from Rasulullah sallam was made in an ease. You go for no reason and you kill the ants, or you follow them and you find them and you kill them. And that's not allowed. But when this animal will harm you and harm your life or your children, whoever that, your wealth, then you can kill them. And that is, as far as I know, there's no khilaf between the ulama in allowing killing the ants at the time when you know that they're going to harm you, harm your wealth. Well, talking about back into a lesson that we can learn from this, just need to highlight about the lesson, come back into the lesson here. The beauty about this ayah, as I said earlier, for those who are responsible in a family, in a community, workplace, wherever that you are, and you're all responsible, at least you're responsible in your house. So whenever you see the danger, you see the need to talk to your family, do not keep quiet. And Namla, before Sulaiman arrived to there, at the time when he's entering the valley, she made that call and she made that warning to her people and her group. You should do that. And for us, for them, for animals is to live. For them is to survive and to keep their empire safe. And for us, the main thing that to look into it, of course, you have the dunya, but the main thing is to warn your family about and the people who you're in charge of, your amana. If you're working in your place, then if there is anything that you need to tell the people, you have to warn them. Don't keep quiet. I wasn't told to say that. I wasn't giving this. So you give the advice. And that is really what is called in Sharia al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy anil munkar. Rasulullah said, لَتَأْمُرُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلَتَنْهَوُنَّ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ أَوْ لَأْتِيَنَّ اللَّهُ بِأَقْوَامٍ غَيْرَكُمْ. So the reason of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed some other nations because they did not make amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy anil munkar. You say, well, if it did not touch me, if it's not really harming me, I don't care about the rest. Well, then why we are brothers, why we are having this social life, we are close to each other. Because I can advise you, you can advise me when you see something not really right. And that's in general, that's in between 1 to 1. But if you are in charge of a bigger number, that you need to speak and give the advice in a similar way as Naml said to her people. And this is a lesson for us. Otherwise, why are we learning the story of Naml? What is the point of going through all of this? Sulaiman went there and the Naml said this. There's no point of reading this story without learning and taking lessons from that. Okay, Hisham, you want to say something? Okay. فتبسم سليمان عليه السلام. We try to go into a bit of this ayah. فتبسم ضاحكا. As a reaction from what the statement of Namla of this ant, Sulaiman alayhi salam, as we did mention before, he was giving from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the power of to know the language of the animals. فَتَبَسَّمَ ضَاحِكًا مِنْ قَوْلِهَا. تَبَسَّمَ ضَاحِكًا. Allah mentioned two words in here, تَبَسَّمَ and ضَاحِكًا. In Arabic, or in the language, or in the way how we have tabassum and we have al-dhahik, we have al-qahqaha. At-tabassum, when you smile, you make a smiley face. And al-dhahik, when you open your mouth and some of your teeth will be seen. And al-qahqaha, when you make the sound. The sound the strong sound of you are laughing. And as you know, there are ahadiths, although some of these ahadiths are weak, but the ulama, they warn the Muslim is to be in a qahqaha situation for a long time. So Muslims should not make a qahqaha and making the sound. I'm not going to make it, don't expect me to make this sound, but you know it. When you laugh, you're making the sound, the strong sound, and the mouth is open, and people sometimes when they laugh, and then till they got flattened on the ground, and tears comes out from their eyes, and all of that. So you need to be careful because, well, we're not saying it's haram, but you need to be careful in going into this situation. I remember there is one of the shuyukh who comes in a program, a Saudi sheikh, he comes in a program, Q&A, in one of the big channels, Saudi channels in there. He's big sheikh. I will tell you the name because it's not something bad to say it, or nothing that to, his name is Sa'd Shitri. He's a very big sheikh from the Hayat Kibar al-Ulama. When he comes into his Q&A program, is all the time, you will not see him smiling at all. Serious face. And one day, one of the episodes, a lady, when they give the chance to speak, they don't send the questions, the person talks. And the lady said to him, she was a caller from Algeria, and she said to him, Sheikh, I'm going to ask a question, but the question is related to you. I said, what's the question? He said, I've been following your Q&A program for a long time, and you never smile. Why you don't smile? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Tabassumuka liwajhi akhika sadaqa." She put him in the spot, and he tried to to give an answer to himself, to defend, of course, that situation. She put him in a situation, life, and problem. He said to her, what is in the dunya there that makes me smile? There's nothing in there to make me smile. So everything in there makes you really feel. But in my opinion, it's not a valid answer. It's not a valid answer because, yes, have your huzn, your sadness inside you, but when you talk to people, Rasulullah ﷺ, in a situation where people are dying, but he's smiling, still continue with that until the time he is gone, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So we have tabassum when you smile, and that is recommended. That is really a ibadah if you have the intention. The ibadah, if you want it to be counted for you as a ibadah and you get the reward for it, you need to have the intention. You smile to everyone and have it as a habit, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fadluhu kabir. I hope that Allah will give you the reward for that. But all the time, have the intention. I'm smiling to my brothers. I'm intending to have that reward and to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because Rasulullah said, وَتَبَسُّمُكَ لِوَجْهِ أَخِيكَ صَدَقَةً. And to count that as a sadaqah, you have to have the intention for it. Without intention, will not be counted. And higher than that is a-dhahik. A-dhahik when your nawadish, your inside teeth will be seen. And it is allowed. Rasulullah, there are some occasions where Rasulullah have a-dhahik, but of course, it shouldn't be like a habit for the person. And higher than that is al-qahqaha, as we said. You know that in Hanafi school, they consider wudu will be invalid if you make a qahqaha. Sometimes some people are saying that I'm a Hanafi, don't know their Hanafi school, their Hanafi views. If you make a qahqaha, you laugh and with a louder voice, your wudu will be invalid, broken, and you pray salah, will have to repeat the salah. But that is absolutely incorrect. They used hadith, and the hadith is not authentic. And there is no evidence to suggest that the wudu will be invalid if you make the stronger loud of the qahqaha when you laugh. And so that's the highest level. Now it's tabassama dahikan. Sulaiman, he started with tabassum, with smiling, with the statement of the ant, and then he went into higher than that, start even laughing. So he did the two actions, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَتَبَسَّمَ ضَاحِكًا. This is the best explanation mentioned by the Mufassirin about this statement. Why did he smile? There are many reasons, because of the statement of the ant, but why? Because she's warning her people, because he understood her, because he remembered the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon him, that he was able to understand the statement of this ant. And this is, in my opinion, the strongest view why Sulaiman made that tabassum. And the evidence of that, what he said after that, he said, وَقَالَ رَبِّ أَوْزِعْنِي أَنْ أَشْكُرَ نِعْمَتَكَ, which is a very beautiful statement we'll talk about inshallah next week. We'll complete the ayah next week. I have to stop in here. If you have any questions, we'll answer them. Otherwise, you can inshallah go. But for the lesson, this is the end of the lesson. I hope that you enjoyed it and you learned something. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all. And Allah knows best.